Hello, people. Here we are coming together with people who used to live at the Pineal Kingdom, and we want to share our direct experiences. But first, I want to say that we all think it's really good and we embrace community living and off-grid living. And growing and eating your own food and living in nature is one of the healthiest things you can do. And our experiences and our sharings are solely based on our direct experiences at the Pineal Kingdom Foundation and no other community. So we're going to be sharing our own stories. So whoever feels, whoever feels called, like, we're first going to share about who we are and the things, like the good things we're living there and also not so good things. And then why we left. In the first sharing, we're going to be sharing this and also with the introduction of ourselves and why we got there. So Coco just went away and she's coming back. So if Astral or Viv first want to share, that would be fine. We can. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. I have to sort of figure it out. I had an extremely stressful day today, so I'm a bit all over. And I just ate a cookie which sticks to my teeth because I thought Coco was going first. Yeah, so, okay, my name is Vivian. I'm from Holland. I followed many YouTubers, but also Martin on YouTube, also on Patreon. I'm not necessarily completely a flat earther, but I was open for the idea, but I just really don't know. So this was not the biggest issue for me, but for me, the biggest issue was I wanted to leave basically what you would call the matrix, the structure, the system, for as much as possible. I know you can never completely leave, probably, but I want to live together with people, like-minded people, grow our own food, help each other. How would you say this? Encourage each other to live healthy, do healthy things, like yoga, have lots of fun, good food. I'm not a vegan. I was vegetarian in my own place. So yeah, I basically joined because I saw there was a new community starting. In the moment, I really thought the whole world is going to collapse financially. The whole COVID thing, which for me is just bullshit. I don't believe in the pandemic, and I don't even know if viruses are real or whether, that's just a theory, which turns out not to be true. So anyway, I joined the community. I went to check them out in June and I liked it. And then I came back in September. And the first few months I did like it. I was the oldest. I was a little bit outside of all the drama because there was lots of drama. Logically, because it's not easy to live together with like 31 people and 9 children suddenly, and all things go wrong. But I found it really interesting. I enjoyed the meetings where we had like brutal honesty, and I learned a lot about, speaking my truth, but in a respectful manner, but still just really speaking my truth. So I enjoyed it. But in hindsight, I think I ignored a few red flags, which should have made me think a little bit more critically. I think for myself, I should have prepared more what it means to start a community and what kind of requirements you need to build a good, sustainable community. And this is where it basically went wrong. Martin, he was the instigator of the community. I don't want to call him the guru because for me, he's not the guru. But I think he got bored. Oh. Now my battery is low. Oh, there I am. I have to charge my battery soon. I think he got bored by starting a little community with permaculture and all the dramas. So he became interested in what was hot on internet, the sovereignty thing. And yeah, that's where for me it really went awry, where I started to be more critical. I read the whole manifesto, and I was proofreading it, and then I had like a whole week discussions with Martin about how it didn't make sense, and contradictories in the manifest. And during a meeting, everybody was saying, "Oh, it's wonderful, beautiful, wonderful, and we're going to be rich, and we're going to claim our birth certificate." And people were just completely running away with it, and I was sort of the devil's advocate, and this was a role which was not appreciated. And then I noticed I was suddenly, an outcast. I was suddenly a bad person because I spoke against the whole Kingdom of Pineal idea. I remember Martin saying, we go, I don't know how you say this in English, acquire as many souls as possible, like the Catholic Church used to do, this, get as many souls as possible. And once we have 15,000 people or souls, we go to the island of Pico in the Azores. There's only 11,000 people over there, and then we can take the island over. And I was going, oh, that sounds like Palestine, it doesn't like it. So yeah, and then at a certain moment, I was just being critical. Then a house burned down from friends of mine, and the way people reacted was just horrendous. Like, energy doesn't lie. And yoo-hoo, the new year, it was on the 1st of April, started with a bang, with a fire. And these people just lost everything, and they just lost everything. And most concerned they were about their hamsters, the 2 little hamsters that died. So, so sweet. And they were just being ostracized. And then I thought, wow, this is becoming a cult. Martin started to play, but in hindsight, he always played these kind of games like divide and conquer, saying, you get it and you understand it. And people would go, yeah, I understand it. Yes, yes, yes. But you don't get it, like pointing at me. You need a lot of healing. And I go like, what? I need healing. Everybody needs healing. I need more healing. I'm not holy, but come on, this doesn't make sense. And then one moment he told me, I am the visionary. I have a direct line with the divine. You are just a philosopher. Keep your lane because you're blocking my manifestation. And that was the moment I thought, I have to get out of here. For me, this doesn't make sense. If I cannot be me, if I cannot be critical, not in a negative way, but in a constructive way, I cannot stay here. And then, yeah, I was sort of kicked out because there was a guy who went to see what was going on in the community. A guy with dreadlocks and flowers in his hair. And they thought that I had sent him, but I didn't know the guy. For certainly I didn't send him there. And then they went all berserk, saying, oh, we're livid, and how can you do this to us? Without asking me, like, hey, tell your side of the story. Because I would say, I didn't send that guy. That guy was not there on my behalf. And I never saw the guy, so it has nothing to do with me. And he just went on his own behalf to see what was going on, because he heard some strange stories. So, yeah. One thing I really enjoyed was I was the midwife. I'm not a midwife, but I know the other side. I was the midwife for Gabi when Samsara was born. And for me, that was an amazing moment. It was, with me and Gabi, the connection between 2 women. Aqua, or Martin, was running around as a chicken without a head, completely panicking. So that was sort of funny. And yeah, this was a beautiful, beautiful, strong baby. And then was very sad to hear the news later that the baby died. But I was the one, the midwife, just accidentally, because they arranged an official midwife from Coimbra, but that person would have been way too late. So basically, mais ou menos, more or less, this is what I have to say for now.
Thank you for sharing.
Esther, where are you? Oh, there are you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mute myself, okay? Well,
yes.
No.
Do you want to share now?
Shit.
Yeah, I can do that. Come back. I'm back. So, you have to turn your volume right down.
So I muted myself.
Feedback.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take my headphones on. So, Got my camera. There I am. Hello, everybody. So yeah, I'm Astral. It's not my real name, of course, but I am Astral, so I'm sticking with that. I joined Pineal in November of 2021, the 11th of November 2021. I knew Martin in Southampton.
Can you maybe put your volume a bit higher?
And
in the beginning, I could hear you very well, but now not. Can you put your volume a bit higher? Yeah, now it's better. You need to be a bit closer because otherwise it's difficult for us to hear you. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was with Martin in Southampton because I got invited from him because he found out I was a carpenter and he offered me a job of fixing up Aurora, the horse box. So I did that. That was my first, well, I knew Martin online, obviously, from his time with the Cosmic Egg and Flat Earth and all sorts of everything, yeah. And more or less, we kind of got to know each other through online meetups. Basically, it's like a lot of Google Hangouts that we were doing from, I think, 2017 onwards. You know, the people, Santos Bonacci and Martin Liedke and, you know, yeah, people like that. So I got offered to do this horse box, which I did, and I kind of lost contact, but I knew that things were happening for him. We'd spoken about having a piece of land in Portugal, getting people together with bands and, you know, create a small community where we share the, you know, like the garden, and we help each other build things, and, you know, we have thought processes, think tanks kind of stuff, you know, but we all get along together. And it would be vegan. We didn't want to have any animals there or anything, and no alcohol, which is fair and fine enough, you know. So I arrived in November. I arrived on foot. I traveled by bicycle and foot from Amsterdam. It took me 5 and something months, 117 days. Everyone was astonished when I popped up just that evening. Do you remember, Yannicka? Hydro, were you there in the choir? Yeah, you're muted, it's all right. But yeah, so I arrived that day, and obviously the carpenter that they had then, the builder, Darren, he was just leaving or ready to leave. I think he'd handed in his notice or something. So they were only there for a month or two when I got there. But I got to know Darren a little bit, and we began finishing jobs, starting and finishing jobs. The kitchen we made, benches we made, the flags that are outside, the 6 flags, myself and Mystic put them in, and whoever, Henry, yeah. We did the gates, we put the plaque on the front. We were there for the inauguration. There was like so much that I was doing. And I left because I was more or less stopped from doing things, and it was turning into something that I was not. It wasn't my formulated thought pattern in the beginning, you know. It wasn't how it should have been. No, and it was not it wasn't a loving place in the end, and I felt more like an enemy, a part of a family. So yeah, I decided to leave, and I left at the same time as another lady. Yeah, that's all in a bag. But yeah, that's basically me. Yeah. I know Martin on a different level than other people because I know him as just like a regular guy, and we worked together. He taught me a lot. He taught me when you finish for the day working, do 1 extra job, and that 1 extra job, it usually ends up being 2 extra jobs, but it's 1 less job to do the following day. Yeah. And I was always saying to him, no, man, let's just chill out. Let's go now and we can finish it tomorrow. But I ended up picking up his habit, and he ended up picking up my habit of just chilling and relaxing, you know. So yeah, it was good. I had a lot of good experiences. I learned a lot and shared a lot. And I was part of, you know, a nice family, you know, and I'm happy that I've met you guys, you know. It's just well, it's a chapter of our lives, isn't it? Oh, it's windy here. Open plan kitchen. Yeah. All right, is that enough?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will do second round later.
Yeah.
And do you want to start or shall I start?
I don't know. You can start if you want.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I lived close by the community actually. So I met Martin, later Agua. I met him at a hike for like just randomly at a hike, and then we had interesting talks, and it was really good. And then I came by several times at the place, and I really loved it. I loved the place. I loved the people. I was doing like on the trampoline with the children, and then they asked like, do you want to come eat here? And I was like, oh, that's amazing, good food. And then I was like, this is like paradise. This looks like paradise. And then I came for New Year's at the party, and then also the children walked around with face paint, and there was a big party and a DJ, and I was like, oh, this thing is like paradise. I hope to live there one day. And then I said that I wanted to come live there. And then they said, well, first we have too many people, a lot of people leaving now. We have to regroup, and yeah, you can come back if there's place again. So I was like in contact, and then suddenly I think in July, they contacted me again, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming now. And I came, and in the beginning, it felt like paradise. Like it felt like all family. I loved the people all over the world. We had amazing food. I was giving yoga to everybody, and also to the children. I was giving healings to everybody. I was like, I'm in paradise. I'm working on the new earth, and this is amazing. And we're like really building the new earth. I felt like for humanity. Yeah, and later the rest can come in as well. And but there was, yeah, only later when I saw some red flags later already in the beginning that I first didn't see, and I was like, oh no, I just want to trust. I don't want to be in doubt and stuff. But when it became more and more rules and more obligations, I felt like this is not how I want to live. I want to live free. With all, like, I don't come from one system with the rules and obligations to another one where there's even more rules and obligations. And suddenly they say like, oh, the people, all the meetings are obligatory, the singing is obligatory. And there were people that didn't want to do the singing. And I was like, and that was the first time I spoke out. I was like, if that person doesn't want to sing, you don't,
Yeah.
this is, you can't make him sing. And that was the first time I spoke out. And then there were more things I spoke out, and then also came back like some red flags that I didn't miss in the beginning. Like I used to live there, I had friends in the area, but my friends or family couldn't come by, and that felt really strange. But they had all sorts of reasons for it, but I just got there, so I didn't go into it as much. So I'm like, okay. And then there was more I was speaking out, and more like I felt like they wanted just people that were following, that were like saying what they did, what they wanted us to do, and that we need to work hard and don't say anything. I felt, and then, but they're singing about living the free life in nature, but then they say, yeah, no, we have to build and work first. You can only live free later in a couple of years, but I want to live free now. So there were more things. And then there was also like one red flag was also I didn't like. So bad talking about people that left, really bad talking about it. But I didn't know the people, so I didn't say anything. But then they started bad talking about people that were there. And then I'm like, I'm not in high school back. And that didn't feel good with me. And then there were some more things. And then someone, we came into contact with someone who was already before there, and he told me that they were doing the same things years before, because I thought like, oh, they're new, they don't know things and they're figuring it out. I was like explaining for them. And then that person said, watch on YouTube how to be a cult leader. And we watched that video and we were like, oh, we are living in one. We saw that video and it was like, the love bombing in the beginning, then you don't follow, then all sorts of rules, and then you don't like it, then they really like ostracize you, And then they make you like, oh, don't have good energy anymore. And then and also was like, oh, we know each other from past lives. Like really some people, they had like privileges. Martin was really like other people he was like putting in front, and we have to listen to these people, and they didn't give a voice to other people. And a lot of times I felt like there were like a lot of wisdom that were not like where they didn't want to listen to. And we saw that, and we were like, oh, we're in one. And there was one person that's really rude to a lot of people. And if you react, then they say, oh, it's your trauma. It's like, you start questioning yourself. Like but it starts with the rudeness of that person, start not with you reacting to it. So, and they didn't took any self-responsibility for that. So when we tried to tell the person several times, but it's like from no one was there any accountability. So that was like really strange. Like you think you're in a community where people want to heal themselves, like are open, vulnerable, but that was not at all. And it was like a lot of things were also very hidden. So after I saw that video on the YouTube, I was like, we have to go. And then we went to a guest house. We found a guest house. And we messaged people, we're going now. And I had a friend with a Jeep coming, and we had like all night, we packed all our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And we put all the things in the Jeep of that friend, and we drove away. And we had, at the moment when we said we're going, a lot of people came to us like crying because they really didn't like that we were going, but they understood. And there's a lot of people who wanted to go away, but they couldn't because they didn't have any money or people around them. So I also helped other people leave after, and I also still sharing about it, sharing awareness about it. But then we left, but we heard also some people were like dancing while that we left, and that felt like, yeah, also hurtful, because we were such a good family in the beginning, and then you hear people are happy that you left. So it's so it was like really double. And for me, just after I left, I had like quite some sadness, and because I see the people as family, and the people that also left after, I still have a lot of contact with them, and I feel they're like my soul family. So, and I'm also so that is my part of like the good things and the bad things, and why I left. And then later I'm going to we have a second round, but first I want to let
Hey, Coco.
hi. So do you want to share, or Coco? Coco, you can share about the good things, the bad things, why you went there and why you left, and who you are.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Coco, and I just want to make clear, for me, there's no good and bad things, because I'm trying to go away from that thought. But I'm here to share a little bit about how it was for me coming with a family, because I came with my husband, my daughter, and I was pregnant at the time. And I also want to share this for other families, maybe. Not that I can ever say to anyone else what they should do or what not. That's not what I want. Everyone should have their own experience. But just so maybe, think a little bit about it, what you do before you go, and not just giving everything up where you are as a family. So for me, I was at Pineal about 7 months, I think. Yeah. And it was a great experience, honestly, because I met all these beautiful people. I have, with most of my friends that I interact weekly, are all people that I met at Pineal. None of them is there anymore. But I really have, I found my tribe, really. I found a lot of people, and I love them so much. And that's why I will always say it was a great experience for me, because I met all these people. It was similar, like you described it a little bit, Joy. In the beginning, it was amazing. It was summer. It was great weather. We had parties all the time. It was healthy food, lots of fruits, lots of delicious vegan food. I was not vegan at that time. I was vegetarian. But I honestly really enjoyed it, and it was great. And then it all turned a little bit when it became a bit cooler. People were living in tents. Things were not really getting sorted out. When money came in, it wasn't used in the right way, in my eyes, of sorting out the living situation, the toilet situations, all these kind of things. It was used in other ways. Then we were helping a little bit with the books, the financial books, and it turned out there was money missing, and there was just finger pointing at each other. Who is it? Who is taking the money? Who is not taking the money? So that was all a bit funky. And yeah, and then what you said, Joy, with the whole, you had to start doing things, not had to, but you were like pointed out and felt weird if you wouldn't do it. And we were coming up with that whole, because everyone who came there came with the thought of you can be free, you're not like in this matrix of system with all these rules and all this heaviness. You can just be you and be free and express yourself free. But it turned out that the people who really expressed themselves free, they were turned down, or they were then framed in a certain way. And that's when I didn't like these certain things. And for me, it was clear there were a lot of light workers, a lot of light people were there, and they will always attract darkness as well, because this is the yin and the yang, the night and the day, the dark and the light. So I just recognized a few of these dark people there, and they had a very dark energy around them. And it came more and more out, and so it didn't resonate with me and us anymore. So this is why when I was 9 months pregnant, just at the end, I decided spontaneously to leave, because I thought this is not the place where I want to give birth and stay for a while. Even during the whole pregnancy, I really thought that's where I'm going to be, and I really liked it. And yeah, it was very interesting, and I got empowered by all these beautiful women around me who free birthed themselves, and I didn't have any checkups with doctors. It was just amazing. Honestly, I felt so free. But then it started getting less and less and less, so it didn't make sense for us to stay there. So what I want to share for families who are thinking to go there is definitely a great experience, and you can go for yourself and check it out and all that. But before you would give up your whole house and sell everything that you have, what we did, because we were living in Australia and it was COVID at that time and a bit of a nightmare living in a city. So we were really like motivated to be somewhere where we can just be us and live our life with our young children, and not, told off the whole time by anyone else. So we left everything, and I would just, give that advice of go check it out first, look for yourself, feel for yourself, and however you feel, that's when you can go ahead or not. And I honestly think there's people there who love it, and they will always be there, because for me, there's not a right or wrong way how to live. It's just a choice. And for me, it was not how I want to live, because I want to live free, and I want to live in harmony, and I want to live with other people, being creative, and a lot of these aspects were happening. But unfortunately, there was always something behind where you had to do something that you don't really want to do. So that's for me, the part. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have Hydro.
All right. Wow, sorry. Yeah, my name's Hydro. I'm from the States. I had been following them. This is like around after my awakening, when I decided to not be attached to the system. I've been following a group of people, not a group, but just many different YouTube channels. And Pineal Foundation was one of them. And like Ashley said, the moon landing, the fake moon landing, because I really resonated with the information and the cosmic egg. And then other countless videos after that, I became very interested in Pineal Foundation. So I decided just to support them, through Patreon at a distance. I wanted to join them, but after looking at countless videos, I would see that they're in the north of Europe. In one video, they were like in the snow. I'm like, well, I'll just continue to support the Patreon. I like to be with them, but no, I'm not going in the winter. So basically what I did is I came across a video with Martin Kenny saying how we could be free and sovereign, and he would like for us to join his community. I'm like, yeah, it's nice and all, but I'm not for the community living out in nature in cold weather. But then he mentioned like you can live in close proximity of the land by just renting a home for like 300 euros or, whatever the case may be. So that caught my attention. So 2 weeks later, I head to Portugal and I joined his community.
Yep.
I got there really quick. I'm just like, you know what? I'm tired of the system. I had enough. I'm not dealing with this. I was already vegan, you know, no alcohol, just eating, you know, just fruits mostly, and just drinking water. So I'm like, these guys are aligning with me. I'm gonna go ahead and live like they're living. They're detached from the system. I've seen some videos when he's like, yeah, the collapse of the system, it's gonna collapse. You might want to be here. It was during the case of COVID. And everybody was already like pretty much programmed out there, either wearing a mask or trying to force you to wear a mask, trying to convince you should get, I'm not gonna just say that because it's going to YouTube, but trying to force you to put like a bioweapon into your body. I'm not even new. I'm just gonna go live with these guys, this community of people, like-minded individuals, which was the impression they had. They were gonna be like-minded individuals and we're just gonna collect together. So I decided to like, since I was told that I could rent, you know, outside of the land and not live in a tent, I did. I got there and I ended up renting a room for 300 euros. So basically what I did is I lived off the land and I would get driven there every day to help, you know, manual labor, help build decks for tents, do some gardening, all that stuff. And then I'd get back, you know, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And they wanted me to move on to the land, but I don't know, they didn't have enough resources. They weren't really prepared for taking in a lot of people like they did. We had to share a bathroom, one bathroom. And it just wasn't working. It just didn't have enough resources, but I still wanted to try it out because I'm like, hey, these guys are going where I want to go, man. They want to live free. They want to just be detached, you know, healthy. Everybody wants to be healthy. They want to be like organic, not chemically poisoned with everything that they're around, whether it's your Wi-Fi signals or it's the food that you put into your body or medicines they're trying to give you. So, you know, dealing with, I'm gonna call it the core group, because when I was watching these videos, you always have Martin Kinney, but there's a core group, because each time I see a video, I see groups of people coming and going. I'm like, where are they going? But I would always see these three or four people stay around there, sticking around. I'm like, who are these people that never leave? So basically, when I got there, it was mostly dealing with them, the core group. I didn't really see Martin Kinney too much. So I was already under the impression that he's pretty much like delegating rules and chores and tasks for these guys to delegate down to us. And so basically, he's running through them and they're basically acting in his position, the core group, to everybody else that arrives there. And I thought it was nice. We had like nice campfire ceremonies. We had some great food there. At the beginning, it was summertime. We had some great energy going. Everything was nice. A couple of times, I don't want to say his name, but I would ask a question. There was a lot of spiritual bypassing taking place. I would ask a question, like a concern I might have, and all I would get for an answer is like, that answer is not really important. It's just all in your mind. Just try not to feel whatever you're going through, or try not to really solve the issue with the problem I was having, if I was having any problem. And it would just go about their business. If we never get an answer, I'm like, oh, this is, maybe he knows something I don't know. So at first you think like, they might know more than you. Because when I got there, I was under the assumption that everybody there was on the same level of consciousness and frequency that I was on. But that, you know, it just wasn't it. And so whenever I thought I did something wrong during the conversation, I would go, they have this big rock when you first get to the land, when you go past the police tunnel on your right. And I would always go there, like every problem I had, I would go on top of the rock and sit there and meditate. Sometimes I'd even go to sleep on that giant rock. Come back in, you know, recharge my batteries, my energy, and start conversating with everybody. Pretty much. Well, it went kind of like, for me, pretty decent, because I'd done a lot of shadow work. So nothing really bothered me. Yeah, there were some red flags there, but I just thought it was part of the challenge. None of those red flags really bugged me the way it bugged a lot of people. But here's where the problem comes. Winter season, I was asking, like, you guys have winter here? Of course, we're up north in Europe. And one woman tells me, yeah, we have winter. Sometimes it gets to 0. I'm like, 0. I'm like, you guys are with this weather living in these tents. She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a problem. I already knew it was gonna be a problem. And I'm gonna add this too. You had melanated people who were carbonated running this thing. I could already see the hierarchy in it. It was running this whole community. And people like us, if we're in winter, things aren't going to work right mentally and physically with us, spiritually, whatever you want to call it. and behaviors that are not really going to be accepted by anyone are going to start to come out. I'm not saying this is an excuse why things changed and why the hierarchy was behaving the way it was. But these people were trying to like run this community in survival mode. This is where the problem came for me. I already knew it was going to happen. In survival mode during this winter season. And as soon as winter hit, that's when everything started getting pretty much dark. Literally, too. It got dark. Behaviors, you know, they were demonizing of people that were trying to speak up. Concerns that people had, they were just like, you know, bypassing and just ignoring people, saying your problem's not important, it's for the greater good of everybody else. So you need to sacrifice whatever issue you have for the greater good. And mind you, the greater good is the individual person. Okay, because without the individual person, there's no greater good. And that's just facts. So I seen, like they were saying, I seen these people speaking up and getting demonized. And at first when I got there, I'm like, well, maybe they're just not ready. They haven't done enough shadow work. But then after I started seeing it was a repetitive process where they just keep demonizing anyone who spoke up. So I'm thinking like, okay, how long am I gonna be here? Because I know this is gonna, I didn't want to live like this. I knew this wasn't going to work. I'm like, what is the plan? That's when I met you there. I'm like, okay, we're staying here. I'm like, but what are we gonna do? Are we gonna stay here? Or are we gonna like just, I didn't know what we were gonna do. Because the way the direction was going, I just knew that when I discovered who they were and what they were with this energy is negative, it just felt so dense and dark there after that winter hit. And everybody just completely changed from being happy and love bombing to being a real dark, shadowy, and like there's people speaking behind your back. And I have good hearing. I would hear people talking about another person and then another person talking about, you know, them talking about another person. I can hear them talking about me sometimes. I mean, I have really good hearing. And I would just like think to myself, like, why, if you're or want to be, well, maybe that's what it is, want to be posing as a spiritual guru, why would you even be speaking about somebody? Wouldn't you want to be speaking about helping someone rather than just talking bad about them? I'm like, and I just knew I didn't want to be there too much longer. I didn't really have a plan. We didn't have a plan on leaving there. I was like, there was already people that were leaving. They asked me if I wanted to leave. They asked me if I can ask you if you wanted to leave. I knew you weren't ready to go because you had to experience this before we make our decision. But I'm gonna tell you the good thing about it too, getting there, is despite all the things that happened, none of these are really bad. All this is an experience that we had to have, because you could have this experience when you're still in the system. You know, it doesn't matter where you go. And like, you would just have to learn how to handle it, and maybe it'll make you grow in some kind of fashion, whether it's mental or just to make you stronger, or just to be more aware of you know, what's out there, what type of people out there, how you handle them, how you either can connect with some people, how you avoid some people, keep some people at a distance. Now, there are some people that went there and they just gave up all their money, and they gave up like Coco was saying, they give up the money, people put up their houses. I recommend just never doing any of that. Always keep what you have, because you're always gonna need a plan. There's no plan set in stone where you're going to be, especially when you're in a community. You never know if you're gonna be there, you know, forever. You're gonna leave, when you're gonna leave. I don't think anybody ever stays forever actually in the community. But yeah, I basically, I don't know where I'm going with this one. It was nice, and then it wasn't nice. And I'm not gonna say it wasn't nice. I feel like the season of winter kind of helped things kind of expose themselves, reveal themselves of who people were. And it was just clear that like, this wasn't the place. If somebody wants to go there that is more in line how they want to live, well, so be it. But for the most part, I just knew I didn't want to be here. And then some people thought they wanted to be there. I think they have almost nobody there now. But yeah, that's pretty much my story. I don't want to like babble on, because I feel like I'm going to different locations, and she's looking at me like, okay, we got to wrap this up a little bit. So I apologize for my beginning, because something about being recorded is like, maybe it's something from Babylon, you know what I mean? But I'm all good.
Thank you. Yeah, you will probably know us from the High Joy videos, yeah. But we're like not making them anymore. But something else will come out of there. But thank you already also for sharing your experience. And we're now also going to talk about like what you got out of this experience, and what would you advise for others going there? So, but I think you already said a bit about that, no?
A little bit, but I didn't go too far into
Oh,
it, so
okay.
I'll go ahead and add to that afterwards.
Okay. So
Let's get
I
more
want
focus
to,
next time though.
okay, cool. I want to share about like my experience, how I look at it back. I was like, yeah, there were some red flags that I could see. I also quite some people thought that I was very stupid for going there. I was very naive. I had family, like, yeah, you could have known that with all those egos and false gurus. And I had not everybody was like very understanding. And I felt really a bit stupid, and I had people warning me, or even Viv here was here, but I felt I needed to go. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why we now also just want to warn people, but still, if you feel called to go, then then it's also there's also reason for that as well. And I really felt like they are not who they are portraying as, and they're not as love and light as they portray us. And they were also very dark, and also was a lot of lying and deception. So that's why I want to warn people, and that's why I'll make this video also. I would definitely I would say people don't go there. A lot of people say like I give the choice to the people themselves, but if it were up to me, I would say like don't go there, because they're not who they portray to be at Pineal. Definitely, I feel and I experienced that. But on the other hand, I needed to experience that, because otherwise I wouldn't have found him. So it was all meant to be. And I also met a lot of beautiful, beautiful souls there, and most of them went away. And there's a reason that all these people left there, because they have that vision is still there, that community with loving people, with like-minded people, living together on the land, having your own vegetables and fruit garden. This is still a vision of me. But these people, I thought they had the same vision, but it was not. They just want to have people working for them, and they want to be as if living their best life, and they want subjects and followers, and not people living free. And I felt that, and nobody is going to tell me how I need to live. We're both rebels, and so that's not going to happen. So I'm glad that I went out, and I'm glad that I can also share my experience with other people to raise awareness. So thank you for being here, and now the other can also say like how they view back at it, and also what would you advise others, because I also know that there are quite some people still having like feeling bad about this experience. So also it's good for those people to hear this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for me, for me, all is good, because whatever happens needed to happen, and it's just the universe showing you have lessons to learn. Well, apparently I still have a lot of lessons to learn. Without diminishing my own responsibility for joining that community in the beginning, I left when it became more cultish, and I think like Janneke and Hydro, they were there when it was more cultish, and Astral were there when it was already much more cultish than before. But so without diminishing my own responsibility, I think that Martin Kenny, I don't even like the name Akbar Allah whatever, so I refuse to even use it. But Martin Kenny, he, as an instigator of a community where people give everything up and they come over to your place, I think you have a more of a responsibility as a leader, and not step back so quickly, which he, for instance, did. He took a whole month off to meditate and fast, and then there was confusion in the community. It was just, it was like 1.5 or 2 months old. And then later, he started to manipulate people, the inner circle with the people at Yes Men who all got it. Yes. And then the people who were critical, they were like, ostracized. And I think, well, if people, start using bad words and negative energy and screaming. That's not the way, you know, to vent your criticism. But if it's done in a rational, loving manner, I think you should always embrace what you call the devil's advocate. So for me, yeah, Martin is the most responsible for stepping back. I can understand that, you know, everybody who joined the community wanted to be close to Martin because he was the YouTube famous person, right? Of the theory of the cosmic egg and all this, that, and the other. So I think everybody gave him energy, and this, I think he already had the tendency, but made him more like a power guy, more megalomaniac. Because if you label people all the time, that's what he did. You are this, you are a philosopher, you are this. It's very limiting because you think, I have some philosopher's qualities, but I'm not a philosopher. I'm many other things. So it just, you know, doesn't feel free when people are labeling each other. And then, yeah, those yes men, and especially I think Jay had a very dark energy. I don't mind calling names. He was very, very dominant. I once had a fight with him. He told me I was a butt woman, and he was not referring to my ass, but because I always say but. Well, I don't always say but I was just critical about the whole thing. And I think, what I said before, you should embrace people who are critical. So yeah, in hindsight, there were many more red flags from the beginning on. What I would advise people is, Martin is very eloquent. He can make you believe that your nose is on the back of your head. I kid you not. This is just, he's so eloquent and so smart in talking. Just stay critical, be aware of these, you know, NLP kind of techniques. I realized that, for instance, when I came in June and then wait all summer in Holland and then came in September, Martin told me a few times, fortune favors the brave. And I was using that like, okay, I'm leaving, you know, my children, my house, my life. I'm going there with everything I have. I'm going to stay there forever. I'm going to live there forever. And I'm brave. I'm brave. This was what I was telling myself. And this was also what, you know, Martin sort of broadcasted. In hindsight, I was also driven by fear, you know, just the whole system collapsing, you know, all the shit. And well, it's still going on, but so yeah, be critical to the words. Just there, you know, whatever people tell you, and especially Martin, who is so eloquent, just go, is this true? Is this really true? Why does he say this? Is this correct? Do I really agree? Listen to your gut feeling, because I ignored mine, actually, because I had some feelings sometimes like, this is not correct, you know, talking bad about a girl, Martina, saying weird things about her. This is not good. I mean, I just joined that community, and then hearing something really bad about another girl, you know, it clouds my perspective on this girl, and it's just not fair. So that's one thing. And the other thing is money, because of course they say we are sovereign and we love permaculture. Well, there's only a few people really working in the garden doing the permaculture. It's usually, you know, it's not like everybody likes to do this. Some people are just really lazy. And I think, yeah, if you really love permaculture, you should get your hands and feet dirty, right? And the other thing about, yeah, spiritual arrogance, you know, I'm more spiritual than you, so you shut up. That's very dangerous. Be very aware of this. And then the money thing, because of course they're not sovereign. You know, thanks to the grace of Pione, they can live on that land. I once was at a telephone call with Martin and Pione, between Martin and Pione, and I just heard how, you know, how Pione is kittled and kept warm, and because he's the big provider of the money. And then there's, of course, the people coming. I was one of them, who donate money because we all share. Well, we all share what is not ours, basically. So be aware of, you know, not donating too quickly, too much money. And also, yeah, I was also put under pressure one day because there was a bill overdue, and I paid that fucking bill because they said it's all gonna collapse. Better pay the bill. There's no money on the bank. And now I'm pretty skinned. It's a big lesson. Martin promised me even to pay back a certain amount for the solar batteries, but he never followed up on that. I even sent him an email. So be careful with this. Would it be the first place to go? No, I would not go there because of my experiences. But if you want to check it out, of course, if you still, you feel like drawn to it, you should go. But listen to all our little warnings. What's this Chinese saying? A warned man or woman is counts double or something. Yeah, that's it, I think. Oh.
Thank you. And Astral, do you want to share about how you look back at it and what would you advise to others that want to come? Are you coming?
He's there somewhere.
Yeah.
There I am, here. Put my camera on. So, what I got out of the experience, well,
I think your internet is good.
I got to a place that together with Martin, we spoke about creating, and it became a reality shop. And maybe I should turn the camera off because wait a minute. If you put the volume on and let me see, it's still working, yeah? Okay, yeah. Sorry, Yannicka.
It's good, but it was the sound was not so good. So hopefully it's going good now.
All right, so I'm speaking to the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I got out of it was all that I'd, dreamt of having, really. This just a place where you could say it's a true home. You've got your garden there and all these people that are on similar wavelengths as you, hopefully, and they all weren't. But yeah, I had so many friends there, and I wasn't really hostile with anybody. There was a few run-ins with certain people, but that's an ego thing, probably. It's a Leo ascendants and people with fire signs. They can sometimes clash, and I think that's what it was. And I don't back down if someone asks or says something. Yeah, I had a few run-ins there, but I learned a lot. I mean, the cooking, that was awesome, just to see what people were cooking and how they were cooking and what they were cooking. That was a good experience for me. My advice to others, watch your money. I arrived with nothing. Literally, I was a pilgrim the whole journey from Amsterdam. But I arrived with nothing except my knowledge and my abilities to build and whatnot. But after I left, or when I was about leaving, they was stipulating that anyone who comes and joins, they have to go meditate every morning at 4:30. And I'm not getting up at 4:30 to meditate. I would rather meditate on my own in my own time, whatever day I wish to do it. I don't have to meditate every day. I don't meditate every day, although people do say it's great, yeah, and I get that. And 7 o'clock in the evening, also another hour's meditation. And it came down to it where I was like being more or less forced into doing it. And this is coercion. Literally, if I didn't do the meditation, then they would eject me or get rid of me. They actually came up with some rules because I just walked into Pineal, and one of them was that they never just are going to allow people just to turn up. It just became very culty. We all had like kaftans, and I didn't really want to wear mine because my job, I'm a carpenter. So anytime I've got a saw in my hand, or it's just going to waft and snag. So I didn't I didn't really wear my kaftan. Also, it was too hot. Yeah, that was that. And I was kind of frowned upon, and I felt already then, this is not going right. I'm being excluded. It's also part of my experience. That feeling that I have a good intuition when it comes to that. Yeah, I don't know. But my advice to others, yeah, watch your money, because apparently now they're going to take people when they do come there. You have to pay a certain amount of money to join. You have to do 28 days of meditation and eat vegan. And if you can endure that, then maybe they'll allow you to join. Yeah, that's about it really from me. But I totally enjoyed the place, yeah, and big love for everyone who's there. Yeah, it was a good experience. But if I was to say to anybody if they should go or not, I would say also don't go. So that's that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your story. So yeah, the kaftans, that was also a whole thing. So when we thought we had the kaftans for the 21st of December for like a celebration day, and we're like, oh, that's nice to have the kaftans. And then the day after, they said something like, you have to wear them now every day. And we were like, huh? We just had one kaftan.
It's like every meeting.
Yeah, so when we were like,
you can't go to a meeting without it. I didn't
Yeah.
mind though. I didn't care.
yeah, they say like, you have to wear them now every day, and every meeting it's obligatory, and you can only come to the singing when you're wearing your kaftan. And it was like, that was too far for us. So that was like, that was the drop that was like too much. So but that was interesting, the kaftans. But now you
It was.
share.
We'll just continue talking.
Yeah.
There was a lot of spiritual bypassing and just manipulation taking place of all forms.
Mm.
I was a bit rebellious. I'm not gonna lie. They didn't like. I wasn't easily manipulated. I wasn't really manipulated at all, actually, because if I didn't feel something a certain way, I just didn't participate. I would walk away from a meeting and go for a hike. They had these mandatory meetings, and like you said, there was this video on how to be a cult leader, and it showed everything that they were doing as far as these long meetings and meditating and getting up and just the way they ate their food. Even though I was vegan, I didn't like the stuff they were eating. But this was all like food they were giving you, songs that were making you sing, forced meditations. I just wasn't into it. I didn't get up for the meditation. I just stayed asleep. I got to the point where they didn't want to even deal with me. They wanted me gone. They wanted you gone too, because like after a while, we stayed together as a team. She would get up and teach her yoga, but then nobody was coming to the yoga too much, so she would do her own. After a while, we just slept in late, and we just got up when we wanted to, and just didn't go to any of their meetings, didn't get up for their 4 o'clock meditations because we weren't having it.
What is the how do you now look back at your experience,
so
and what would you advise for people?
So what I got out of it, okay.
Yeah.
So you're rushing, all right. She's pushed me forward. So I'm looking at my side.
I don't want to make it too long for anyone
Okay.
watching.
So what I got out of it basically is we met so many good people there. We did meet a soul tribe there, and we're still connected to a lot of people outside of this community that we met there. They're a really good family. They're good friends. They're good people. We made these good connections with it, like a real soul tribe going on. So that was a positive thing that came out of this. Not really negative, because this experience, like I said before, it had to happen in order to promote your growth. And it's also good so you know what to expect or what not to expect. So if you're gonna ever join a community, you know what you wouldn't like and what you would like, what you align with and what you do not align with. I can advise others. And before I advise others, what I would say also is communities are good. There might be a lot of people trying to tell you that they're bad because I feel like they're trying to push these 15-minute cities, or whatever you want to call them, smart cities. And they're trying to like do away with the community idea so they can get you in there and have more control over you. But that's probably another story. But advice for others, if you feel a need, if somebody tells you, I would advise you not to go. But if you decided, you know what, I don't care what somebody else says, because you really can't tell somebody not to go, or they shouldn't at least, because you do have to go and have your own experience just to figure it out. And you'll figure out, okay, I had to come down here for this experience. Maybe it's part of my growth. It's something I had to learn about it. But I would advise you to always keep multiple plans, not just point A, plan B or whatever. You want to go C all the way down to Z. You want to have all these plans always in line, because anything could happen at any given time. You can think you're going to be there forever. You can leave the very next day. But just keep your finances tight. Keep everything you need. Do not put your home up or your house or whatever you have for sale. And don't sell anything. Do not give away all your currency, meaning money or whatever you want to call it. Hold all your stuff. If you want to go experience it, go experience it. But don't just dump everything on them and give everything away and just donate everything. Because there's going to come a time where, like, I've been here at this place, in particular, this place, where you're not going to be there forever. And that's just guaranteed. And this is an ongoing process. They bring in new people. It's like summer camp. You come in for the summer. They take what they need from you. The winter comes, they're bitter at you. And then it's like either you'll leave or they'll want you to leave and they'll get the, you know, more fresh meat coming in, so to speak. And, you know, see what they can get for them resources. It's been ongoing. I've been seeing it for like a while just on YouTube. So you can, if you want to join, just check it out. Go for the experience, learn from it. Keep your finances to yourself. If you want to donate, share a little bit, you can, but don't dump everything away and give it up thinking that you found your heaven on earth, because you really haven't. It's just an experience. It's not bad. You might just go there because you need spiritual graduation. You need mental and physical. You're doing labor. You need all kinds of graduations to the next level. We're here, we're learning. This earth is like this realm, it's like a place where we come to learn. And you have to go through these experiences because you go through them elsewhere. If you don't just, you know, somewhere you're going to deal with them. And at least you know where you are as far as this community and communities work. And if you want to go to another one, just do more research and see how they are, and if they have a hierarchy or if they have a collection of people that are making all your decisions. Because you want to be with the collection of people, because every person matters. Everyone matters. And so that's what counts. Even though we are the I am, everybody is the I am. So we're going to keep it like that. So I give thanks to everyone. Thanks for having me here. And thanks for you guys all to be here. You know, we got over that nervousness. Yeah. But yeah, so it does work. Yeah, but like I really appreciate this opportunity. And I give thanks to everybody that was sharing. It was real nice, good experience. I'm glad to know everyone that I met, because now we have connection, a lifetime connection with everyone. Like we're gone from there, but we're always going to be here somewhere.
Yeah, you have so many beautiful people that are now everywhere around the world, scattering and sharing their lights. And so that is really a beautiful thing to know. So thank you for watching. And yeah, and it's good it's here. We're just here sharing our story to raise awareness. And we have like another video of a sister sharing her experience also underneath this video. So if you want to know more, there's also, we will put a link from YouTube from another woman that also shared. And maybe we even get more testimonials. So this is ours, and thank you for listening.
Yeah, it's good to see you all too. It's been a long time.
But we're saying now hi on YouTube.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Stop with the so bye bye everybody. We stop with the
Thank you.